You. Don't you hear the bell? I'm here to help you. Rule number 1, don't get me killed.
So, the name of the game that I'm playing is Mark of the Ninja Remastered. As you can tell, this game has a very calm, very somber feel. One of the biggest aspects of gameplay that you'll notice is the play on sound and the play on light and dark. Whenever I step into the light, like you can see right here, my character looks completely different than when I step into the darkness. This is a stealth-based game, so play on light and darkness and play on sounds are the 2 biggest aspects. As you notice right here, as I'm running, big waves of sound come out, and that tells you how far the sound has traveled and who can hear it.
Stick to the darkness until you find one.
And one of the bigger things about this game is they try to keep everything very generic into the world.
This way.
So this is the tutorial level and the first level I'm playing through right now. And throughout the tutorial, you can tell she speaks to me, and she's speaking to the ninja, she's not really talking to the player. They give very small hints on the screen, but overall they try and keep the very generic feel of everything.
Okay.
Everything is
moving
within the world.
More of them. Find a place to hide.
As you can tell from the basic setup of the level design, is the core setup of the levels are buildings, and the way you traverse through them are these hallways. As you'll see coming up pretty soon, there are going to be vents that I can travel through, so on and so forth. Kind of also playing into that fantasy that people have of being a ninja. The things you imagine are traveling through vents, sneaking through small hallways, hiding behind things. As you can see, they just labeled the vent right here.
You see those banners?
The way the level design really supports gameplay, honestly, is the white outlining you can see of everything around me. That shows basically everything that you can interact with. So despite there being a large amount of things in the world,
you can pull yourself up.
You can pretty much know what you can interact with without really spending too much time in the game, just from everything being outlined white. As you can see, anytime that you can interact with something or they're trying to give you a short tutorial, they highlight everything for you. So everything is pretty clear cut. In turn, what you want to interact with is pretty much what they point out to you. They also present extra options to you so that you do have a lot of agency within the game in terms of how you get to your destinations, though right now they haven't presented me too much as this is to the tutorial. But they also present you with side routes that you can travel through in order to get extra things for the game. They give you extra points at the end of it, which can be spent on skills. As you can tell, the pacing of this game is very, very slow.
Would you hurry up? This place is giving me the
has a very
creeps.
calm feeling at every point in time. In turn, the slow feeling allows the players to really think about the next move they're going to be taking.
Let's keep it that way.
There are certain portions of the game, though, for example, if you get discovered, where everything goes a lot faster. I'll actually
now you're ready to kill.
Find a portion where I can get myself discovered, just so you can see.
The end, of course, is not. I saw you. Run.
So here they immediately begin attacking. They try and shoot at me. So typically your first instinct would be just to run away. But I'm actually going to restart because I much prefer to do this quietly. As you can see, the difficulty does progress as the game continues on. This first level is very slow with it though. They started introducing enemies.
You have to be
throughout the second level they introduce things like dogs, for example, and the dogs can smell you so they don't even need to see you in order to discover you. They also introduce things like lasers, so you have to figure out how to maneuver through these puzzles. But this slower pacing that the game takes gives the player a lot of time to experiment and kind of learn how to play the game, which is a really good thing. As this game does present difficult portions, typically, whenever I get discovered, I find myself just wanting to restart the level in order to keep the immersion that the game presents.
The ink from your tattoo has honed your senses. Focus your thoughts, and you can freeze time in your mind.
I'm gonna continue playing through just to finish this first level to get everybody a full feel for it. But
If you need more cover, you could always destroy the lights. But shattering one will make a loud noise, so be ready for them to react.
once again, this is me talking. This is me presenting the options that the game has. I mentioned it earlier, but this is the first time you actually see it. If I'll drop down really quick. When you look down there, you can see I could have had the option to go downward and try and sneak past them, but instead I'm going overhead. I can actually climb over the building, and then there's a vent up here that I can sneak through to get inside the building. But like I said, this game does present side routes. If I come over here, there's a statue. It gives me 500 bonus points. And now, instead of having to sneak past those guys up front, I can instead get behind this guy and just get him out of the way, and then sneak through the vents of the building. This game definitely plays into the fantasy of being a ninja very well. Instead of having the time still move while the player is about to aim their kunai, they kind of played into the fact that ninjas move with exact precision, so time freezes for this ninja whenever he's about to strike something with one of his kunais. You can even hear the sounds change as that occurs. The base layout of this game, since it is a 2D platforming game, it's moved from left to right, typically. However, the map also shows other locations that are available. The second level is mostly actually vertical compared to this, and so your goal is to move from top to bottom, which I will admit at times can be confusing, but that is how the game moves about. It's usually pretty straightforward though. So long as you pay attention to the objectives, you can figure out where you're supposed to be at and where you're supposed to go to.
See that door? Don't open it yet. Just lean against it and try to sense what's on the other side.
Once again, this is another moment where the game feels very generic. This is the NPC telling you how to play the game without actually directly putting it in the game, saying if you lean against doors, you can see what's on the other side of them.
Hang on a sec.
So that was a moment where the game moved a little bit faster, if you notice.
What is that?
Because I was trying to get past those two guards without actually attacking or having them notice me. I immediately had to just drop down into the next area.
Hostages, and Master Azai is in trouble. We have to.
So I think I'll stop about here. But yeah, the name of this game is Mark of the Ninja. This is actually the remastered version. It's a really good game.